Hi, my name is Bella, and I am an oil painter. I grew up in West Philadelphia, and I live in South Philly right now. And my studio is here in the Village of Industry and Arts building in Center City. I like to paint still lifes, and I like to incorporate a lot of figurines or birds or natural wildlife in my work. And I think that I gravitate towards still life so that I can incorporate storytelling within my work. So I started painting professionally during COVID. Before then, I had always been doing it on the side or as, something that I love to do, but it wasn't my full job. And now it is my full-time career. I think that I got really lucky to be able to work with some galleries and do commissions, and that kind of built my career to the point where, now I'm able to do it full time. So I was living in Los Angeles at the time and worked in the film industry, and I was able to kind of move from working full time to working part time, doing painting. And then when I moved back to Philadelphia, which is where I grew up, I was able to work full time. I'm an oil painter and I specialize in still lifes. I work in a representational style, meaning that it's what you see is what you get. And I like to also incorporate a lot of narratives within my work. So I like to create these scenes that tell a story, and I use kind of a setting to create a scene. So, you'll have kind of figures incorporated that create, an element that there's some sort of story behind what's going on. Started working professionally more when I lived in Los Angeles, and a lot of the art styles that were there kind of influence my work now, specifically very bright, colorful work. There's a few contemporary artists that are my biggest inspirations, like Hilary Petchis, Jonas Wood, Sophie Treppendell. I love to look at who is making work currently and kind of bring a lot of inspiration from that. Another large influence in my work is also the Renaissance still lifes. I think that I gravitate towards the compositions that were used throughout history in very traditional still lifes, but how do we incorporate those compositions or elements in a different modern way. So I love a lot of the parts of the creative process. I think I love the ideating and creating the story and finding elements throughout my house to kind of build up these scenes. I think I also really gravitate towards, of course, the actual painting part. I think of the process a lot about putting together a puzzle, and you kind of are thinking about each piece of the puzzle and how does it fit all together, and kind of this checklist of items that you need to tick off. And I think the other portion that I love is talking to people about my work. I do a lot of art fairs, and within that I get to talk to people about what they see in my work and what it connects with them, and that is always really important to me. The most challenging part is always the nitty-gritty, like the admin side of it, where you have to kind of put on your business hat. Can always be really challenging to, turn your brain into that mode. I think another just technical part is, I love building my stretcher bars and stretching canvases, but I hate gessoing, so it's like you have to do one to get to the other. I think another challenging part can be kind of managing your own expectations of how much work you're getting done each day, and allowing yourself to have periods where you're thinking more and allowing yourself to have periods where you're doing a lot more. I think the best thing I've ever read about art is that, or an art career, is that it's a marathon, not a sprint. You just have to keep working and if you're interested in this thing, follow that idea and delve into it and go deeper and deeper, and just try to be true to yourself and forget about what you think you should be doing, or what these people say that this and this. Like you have to just kind of believe wildly in yourself and see what happens, I guess. My fuel is always about creating these stories and also finding places where you can feel joy and feel happiness. I think what keeps me going is the fact that I can't do anything else. It feels like sometimes this is just all I'm meant to be doing, and I feel really lucky to have connected with this career path and this activity as something that I get to do as a job and, you know, support myself financially. But I think as artists, that is something that's not talked about often, is that it is, you know, how we support our livelihood, and that can be really challenging to balance, you know, something that we love to do and feel very called to do with something that we have to, you know, use to support ourselves. So I think what fuels me is that how lucky I feel that I get to do this every day. When I'm thinking about what I want to paint and what's important to me to paint, it's the hardest thing to capture because it usually is often what I try to think about the least, and I try to put not that much thought into it so that ideas can come naturally. I gravitate towards things that it almost feels like it's bubbling up in my mind until it forms and there isn't a conscious thought. It's just something that comes out fluidly. It's hard to describe because it does feel very literal, the ideas that I'm painting, but for me, I try to forget about that portion of it and just have it come naturally. It is quite depressing, I think, if you think so hard about all the nitty-gritty. So I do try to have an element of escapism within my work where people can go to not necessarily forget about things, but to find some portion of happiness and joy within everything else that might be. I grew up in Philadelphia and I love it. I've lived the largest portion of my life within the city. I grew up in West Philly. I went to school in Mount Airy. I went to high school at CAPA, the Creative and Performing Arts High School. And I love Philadelphia. I love how small it is, how connected it is, how much people care about their communities, how much people are willing to help you if you need it and be there for you and connect with each other. And I think that it is a city that's centered around communities. And if you're willing to put in the work and put in the effort, there's always going to be a community to be there for you and to catch you. I mean, I think it is just that if you, whatever you put in the work, you'll get out of it. In any part of Philly or any part of living, maybe it's universal in any city, but in Philly, it really feels like if you put in the effort to be a part of a community, there will be a community that, you know, values that in you. Los Angeles is a ginormous city and I loved it because it's beautiful and it is very widespread, and sometimes it feels hard to break into different things if you don't know people or that kind of thing. People are welcoming, but there's always sort of credentials that you need to have, or maybe there's just the feeling that you need to have that. And Philly feels very approachable, and you know, you don't need this, you know, prestige behind you to get into whatever you want to here, as long as you know, show that you are trying hard. People really, I think, value that. My personal dreams are to just keep doing this, and I think I have projects that I would love to do. I would love to work on a book cover. I think I am a huge reader. I listen to audiobooks all day long and read books constantly. So I think a book cover would be really fun. But I also feel like I've you know, gotten a lot of cool projects that are upcoming or that I've done in the past that I'm really excited about. And I think as a working artist, we just want to keep working and just want to keep being able to be in the studio, and if we're able to do that, like, of course it'd be great to reach all these other levels, but I'm also really happy to just keep painting.